Well, hello. Welcome to another edition of New Mexico True Talent Presents. And today we're going to talk about one of the hottest industries that's not just in Doña County, it is the hottest industry in New Mexico, in my humble opinion, the space industry. We have, for a very, very long time, had a history in space, but the 21st century space story for New Mexico is where it is at. And so if people are thinking about, maybe, people are thinking about looking for new opportunities for employment, and maybe some people are in school now or pursuing a college degree, and they're thinking, what are some really good opportunities for me to get education aligned to some of these opportunities? Today's your day. We're going to talk to you, so thank you for that. I am joined by two wonderful women who are going to give us sort of their piece of the story. Alice Carruth, who is working with Spaceport America. Spaceport America, as you know, is this amazing launch pad. It's a unique asset in all of the United States, from which a lot of companies actually are pursuing different paths in the commercial space industry. And Yajaira Smith, Yajaira is with one of the great stories in commercial space, and that is the story of Virgin Galactic. And what I always remind people when I talk to them is how lucky they are to be in Las Cruces, in Doña County, and in New Mexico at this moment in the space industry. So ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us, Tracey.
Thank you.
So Alice, I'm gonna start with you because Spaceport is sort of this grand location, and Yajaira's company is one of several that is looking to do something really tremendous in advancing New Mexico's space story. But do you want to talk to me a little bit and just tell me when to advance these slides about Spaceport America, what happens out there, and as I think about careers, what careers I might find?
Absolutely. So my name is Alice Carruth. I'm the Public Relations Coordinator for the New Mexico Spaceport Authority. I know my accent should probably be swapped with Yajaira because both people associate Brits with Virgin Galactic, but I am a New Mexican and an American, and I've been here for 7 years because my husband works at White Sands Missile Range and luckily fell into the space industry, having never had any experience before moving to New Mexico. So I'm kind of in a unique story that I can tell and hopefully guide people into how to get into aerospace here in this county. The next slide, Tracey. So what I did learn very quickly when I moved to New Mexico was the great history we have with space. I am a complete space nerd. I'm very proud of it. I knew about Robert Goddard being in Massachusetts. I didn't realize that he then came down to New Mexico and continued his exploration with rocketry here in Roswell, New Mexico. And that then fed into the work that went on at White Sands Missile Range back in the 1940s. That image that you see down on the screen at the moment is the first image of Earth taken from space, and that was taken from a V-2 rocket that was launched from White Sands Proving Ground, as it was back then in the 1940s. So we have had a very long history with space in this region. In fact, if you go past White Sands Missile Range now, you'll see the sign. It says the birthplace of America's space program. And unfortunately, we don't promote it enough of how much space exploration has been going on right the way back then. In the 1960s, NASA moved into this area. They started to do their Apollo training at Kilburn Hole, which is just south of Las Cruces. And then they brought in the White Sands Test Facility and the White Sands Complex back in the 60s, and they've been working here ever since. And then commercial space started to come in as an idea to the state of New Mexico back in the 1990s, before they even had the conversation with Virgin Galactic. We established what was known as the New Mexico Office of Space Commercialization. And that was the predecessor to the New Mexico Spaceport Authority, which was established in 2006. So since 2006, we've been launching rockets from Spaceport America, way before the GTS, or the Gateway to Space, as we now know it is called, was built back in 2016. That was completed. So we have been going around this area of commercial space for a very long time. And I know people in Doña have been waiting for a long time for it, but what the good news is that we are there. We are right on the tipping point right now, and we are starting to bring in jobs to this area. The next slide, please, Tracey. So I wanted to give you a bit of an idea of what we're competing against. America is part of a bigger area, has been involved in space for a very long time. And it's led to these spaceports that have been popping up all over the country. Now there is a lot of conflict of what we can and cannot do here in this area. We haven't gone orbital yet from Spaceport America, but we actually have customers that are trying to figure out how we can get rid of this first stage issue that stops us from going orbital. But what we have is a very unique area here in New Mexico and a very unique selling point that we have for Spaceport America. Next one on, please. And that is White Sands Missile Range. Like I say, they've been launching things to space since the 1940s. And because of our location right next door to them, we are able to have access to their 6,000 feet of restricted airspace. Now, if you go on to the next slide, Tracey, you can see that that is the most restricted airspace in the entire country, except for a small block above the White House. So that means that all of those planes that you see on that map there have to get redirected every time that there is a rocket launch from any of those other spaceports. So you can see particularly around that Cape area where NASA and SpaceX are currently launching from, there's a lot of planes that go around there. COVID restrictions not in place. And every time those planes have to be redirected, that costs $1,000 per minute. Every time there is a launch from that complex or a re-entry from that complex, that airspace has to be cleared for 4 hours. You can imagine how much money that costs to be able to launch from there. Because of our location next to White Sands and our partnership with them, we don't have to worry about that. And that really does give us a unique selling point compared to everywhere else in the country. Next slide, please, Tracey. So this is Spaceport America. We sit on 18,000 acres. We're quite a large area, and then we feed into that extra area into White Sands Missile Range. So I'm sure Yajaira is going to talk a lot about what Virgin Galactic do, so I won't talk too much about them. They are our anchor tenant. On the north side, we have Air Environment. They have just built a new complex out in our north side of our campus. To the east side, we have our vertical launch area. That's where most of our rockets have been launched from. We've had over 300 launches since we started launching in 2006 from that area. And Up Aerospace, which is actually based in Colorado, has a main facility for their testing out there. Now they work with NASA with the Flight Opportunities Program, so we get a lot of customers that come out and launch with Up. And right down the south end of our campus is Spin Launch. Now they work in our advanced technology area. They're very secretive. They work very closely with the Department of Defense. I can tell you a little bit more about what they're up to as we move on to the next few slides. We currently have over 220 full-time positions at Spaceport America, not employed by the state of New Mexico, but by our customers. The Virgin Galactic moved over here in 2019, and they brought over about 100 people, I believe, from Mojave. I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about how many people they have now. Spin Launch, as I say, have been constructing out here since 2019. I was very lucky to go down and have a tour just last week of their facility, and they're very on track to be completing by the end of this year and start launching and testing in early next year, which is an exciting time for them. Air Environment signed with us in February 2019. We managed to complete the complex that they have built out there in 4 months, and they've already started testing their UAVs out on site, which is an incredible feat, especially since we've been dealing with COVID and restrictions and slowing things down. And then I could say Up Aerospace have been launching with us since 2006, so they're our longest tenant that we've had. We're also talking with about 40 other companies, 2 of which are very close to signing with us to be more permanent facilities on site. And we are hoping with those 2 that we'll be able to get to 300 full-time positions with our customers by the end of next year. And that means job opportunity here in southern New Mexico, which is really exciting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our companies, our customers that are currently working out with us. So as I mentioned, Air Environment and HAPS Mobile have created a high altitude platform station. It's called the Sun Glider. It's an enormous aircraft of 260-foot wingspan. They've just constructed their own test site out on Spaceport America with their own money. They spent $8 million in constructing the site. They employed a New Mexico construction firm, 65 New Mexico construction workers. They sourced all of their material through the state, and that resulted in a $500,000 gross receipt tax for Sierra County in the middle of this pandemic, which is an incredible thing to see that we are actually bringing that kind of money into the state during this moment. Our other customers, if we go on to the next one, is Spin Launch. They are currently recruiting full-time construction workers out at Spin Launch. They need electricians, they need welders, they need carpenters. You can find out all of their job listings on our website, spaceportamerica.com/careers. They are building the world's largest evacuated centrifuge. That means that they are building a massive machine to spin things around at a very high speed to be able to release them without having that first stage rocket boost to go into space. I went, as I say, down to the site the other week and I got to see it myself. That's 106 feet across. It's enormous, and it's right out in the middle of the desert. They searched the entire globe to find a site that could accommodate what they were looking for, and they picked New Mexico because we are unique in what we can offer with them, and they're working very closely with White Sands Missile Range for their product to be able to launch early next year. As I say, they are looking for full-time workers out there at the moment for construction. That will lead into more jobs when they start launching next year. Next slide. So unfortunately, that one looks like it got mucked up a little bit when I moved it over as a PDF. Our other customers that come out, though, lead to other areas. So when we're talking about 220 primary jobs at Spaceport America, that leads to other areas that we need to bring in. So every time we have an event out at Spaceport America, we need caterers. We need extra facilities brought out, like porta potties. And that leads to a whole new area that brings in jobs to New Mexico that people don't think about. Hotel rooms get filled out every time we get these photo shoots coming out. Filming people coming out. We had Ad Astra out here last year doing a DVD release, and they had Mars rovers driving around at Spaceport America, which was really great fun. And that really brought a spotlight to New Mexico as an event venue as well as all of the stuff that we're doing for aerospace. The ECTA event, which we held in February, had around 100 people come in. They all stayed in Doña Ana and Sierra County, needing hotels. I know that they were at the TLC brewery one night because I told them to go down there and check it out. They were using cars that they rented from the local car rental places. They were going out and taking tours to White Sands. They wanted to explore this area, and that's what we're really thinking about when we talk about the bigger economic impact of having Spaceport America here. We only employ 21 people, but we facilitate bringing in more businesses to southern New Mexico. On top of the non-aerospace work, we obviously had rocket launches going on out there as well. So we are a very small team at Spaceport America. There's only 21 of us currently on staff. We're looking to increase that headcount up to 30 by the end of next year. So there will be job opportunities working for the New Mexico or Spaceport Authority, which is a really great career path to get into. So we currently have a small city out in the desert that's managed by 21 members of staff. So we have to wear multiple hats, which is always a bit of fun to work on. It means that I get to go out and see the rocket launches, even though my background is not in rocket science. I get to go along and make sure that whoever is watching those is looked after and they're safe, and I have to understand all of those kind of rules. So it does help being a bit of a space enthusiast, and I tell everybody, really, if you're going to work in aerospace, you've got to have a bit of an understanding about what they're doing. I'm not expecting you to be able to figure out trajectories of rocketries. That's where you get the likes of Dr. Bill Gutman, who is an astrophysicist, come in and talk about what he knows what he's doing. But I'm there to make sure that the customers are looked after and their needs are met. So you have to have a good understanding of customer relations, sales, because we're about generating money into the economy. We have 2 full-time legal staff members because we have to talk about NDAs. A lot of our customers are very secretive about what they're doing out there. We have got counsel on staff that help them out and making sure that they are looked after. We have financial people, so we have 3 members of our finance and administration team. And then we have facilities managers. As I mentioned, we are a city in the desert, so we have to make sure that somebody knows what they're doing with the electricity that's coming on site, the water that's on site. We have IT on site. We have full-time Wi-Fi pretty much across the entire 18,000 acres. All of that has to be managed by our team. The next slide, please, Tracey. And on top of that, because we are a spaceport, we have to have a full-time security and safety team. So our security team have to be able to make sure that people who are coming and going on the site are have the right credentials to be able to come and go on site. We have to have a full-time fire department who understand about the different kinds of rocket fuels that we use and how to deal with anything, like if any fire was to ever occur. And we have to have a really great EMT staff that know how to deal with any issues that go on. In fact, Virgin's flight surgeon currently work very closely with our EMTs when they're flying at the moment. I don't believe her facility is quite finished out at Spaceport America, so she often uses our medical bay in our Spaceport Operations Center. And that also has led to us working with the local Department of Homeland Security, the local Sheriff's Department, when we did some advanced training out at Spaceport earlier this year. Which is a really great thing to have in Sierra County because their fire team is only volunteers, whereas ours are a full-time dedicated staff. So when there was a fire in Sierra County last month, our team were able to respond very quickly and help out in that situation. Next slide, please. which is why we support STEM outreach across New Mexico. It's really important for us to support the future workforce and make sure that they're prepared for whatever job opportunities that come up. We've just recently launched a new campaign with Spirit and Sky, our new STEM mascots that are aimed at younger students to engage them into experimenting at home. Those videos can be viewed on our website, spaceportamerica.com/education. We also have middle school lesson plans that are available to download. Everything that's on our website is free to be able to use and utilize. Normally, we would go into schools, particularly the middle schools in the Las Cruces Public School District, and provide free lessons for the students to get them excited about space. COVID has caused a couple of situations where we're not able to do that this year, so we're looking at how we can bring STEM outreach more as a virtual opportunity, but then we'll reach the entire state of New Mexico. The next slide.
That's outstanding, and I really want to make sure that I say out loud, it is so important for students who are still in education, who are able to take advantage of different opportunities, career and technical education in aerospace, engineering, a host of different fields. And I really, I think people kind of take themselves out of science and math kind of stuff. Oh, that's hard. No, man, even if you do something a little bit hard for a little while, it benefits you for the rest of your life. And especially as it relates to these careers are not going away in Doña County. They're just going to get more and bigger and grow. And, thank you for the work you all are doing with STEM education. I do think it's important to note that, the taxes that, that come from Spaceport are also going into our education system. And I think that's an important economic aspect to Spaceport America, especially to us down here. Sorry, I didn't mean, I love Spaceport America, and I just love saying nice things about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Tracey. And I know as a mum myself, I'm the first person to stop my kids from experimenting at home. And I know that that's the worst thing you can do when it comes to encouraging children to think about STEM careers, which is why I purposely picked at-home activities that use things that you find around the house that we did in our videos, everything from water bottles to food, just to be folding a paper space plane out, at home to get people to really think about what it is to craft and to create. And that's really important when it comes to STEM education. And that leads me into my last slide, really. The Spaceport America Cup, it's the biggest, the world's largest intercollegiate rocketry contest, and we hold it here in Doña Ana every year. Unfortunately, this year's was cancelled because of COVID-19, but we've already released the dates for 2021. We have 150 teams sign up for this. That's about 1,500 students that come in. They fill up the hotels. Some of them stay for multiple weeks. Majority of them bring family members with them, faculty from their schools. So you normally get between 2,000 to 3,000 people that come to southern New Mexico for this competition. Beyond the economic impact, it gives an opportunity for students to really meet recruiters, to find out what they're looking for. It gets the recruiters seeing what their future generation are able to do, what they're capable of doing. It's a really great opportunity, even if you're not a competitor, to come out and see what rocketry is really about. And if it's the one thing I can drive home to anybody who's thinking about any kind of career in aerospace, is to learn about it, be enthusiastic about it. And that means going out and experimenting and playing around with rocketry. And you can buy kits offline for really cheap. I have the baking soda and vinegar plastic rocket that I do with my kids on my driveway. It probably only goes up about 20 feet, but for a 5-year-old, that's a great height, and he thinks it's brilliant. So anything like that you can do to really encourage you to get involved in STEM education is valid and very, very important.
Well, let me, so Lynn, let me real quickly before I turn to Yajaira. So you said there's job opportunities out there right now, and I want to make sure people know how to find those job opportunities. So I'm going to go to your website, spaceportamerica.com.
Yeah, go along to About.
Go to About, okay, Careers.
Yeah, and you can go down to Careers, and it will have links to all of our customers and their job hiring pages.
Well, there we go. There we go.
It's really simple. So we're currently hiring a CFO, a Chief Financial Officer, but Galactic have got job listings. We have them up on there. I believe Spin Launch is under there, links to them, and Fiore, which is our security and fire team. So we really are hiring everything from firefighters and security staff, carpenters, welders, all the way up to the rocket scientists out of Spaceport America.
Outstanding. So those are the jobs that are here, ready today. And in a little bit, I want to share about, jobs that you can get ready for the long term. But now I'm going to turn our attention over to Yajaira. Yajaira, I'm going to go ahead and go to Virgin Galactic's website because you guys, it's amazing. Richard Branson, he doesn't do it if he doesn't do it in style, and your website definitely shows that. Do you want to talk about, Virgin's a big company and it does a lot, but the mission in New Mexico is pretty specific. Do you mind kind of talking to us about that portion of the company? And I'm going to stop sharing screens for a sec, and I'll come back to this.
Yeah, no, of course. It's I've been personally, so I'm Yajaira Smith. I've been with the company a little bit under 8 years. So I've seen it from very small. I always tell everyone my first task when I came on board was to build my desk. So, and now we are much more organized than that. So, to your question, obviously our mission, and I'll talk a little bit about our mission and purpose, and then talk about some of the things we're doing in New Mexico, if that's okay. So, obviously our mission is to positively impact the world by opening up space to people like you and I who aren't astronauts, right? So we endeavor to change perspectives in the world for good. So you're on our website. If you go on our website, it's an amazing site. And if you want to check out the AR experience, it's an app, and you can really maneuver around. You can look at inside of the cabin and the cabin reveal that we did last week, which is amazing. And everyone's super excited about that. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the website in that AR app reality, or even download that app on your phone, please do. It's wonderful. So and you can have like a spaceship right on your desk while you work, virtually. So go ahead and do that. But in Spaceport, our New Mexico mission, our spaceport right now is we're fully operational, which is a big thing, right? Because since I started with the company, it's always been, we're getting to New Mexico, but we're there now. So both of our vehicles are there, as you probably have seen them there. VS Unity and also VMS Eve are there at Spaceport. And they're the focal point. And we believe New Mexico, as you said, is the focal point of commercial space operations. So get very excited about that and that mission to open up space to everyone, and opening that up in New Mexico and having the world as your audience. It's basically, our efforts in New Mexico. Since we've moved to New Mexico, we've had our operations here in California, and we have operations in 4 time zones. Jamila always likes to talk about the time zones. So we have, from California, New Mexico, all the way to the UK. But more importantly here in the state of New Mexico, we've moved everyone, most of our staff, over 100 of them, over to New Mexico to start operations, right? And so since we've been there, we've been able to we completed a Unity flight, first glide flight out of New Mexico, which I'm sure, I don't know if you guys were there. I wasn't there, but I was on camera, and it's super exciting to see the first glide flight at Spaceport America, the home of our amazing spaceships, right? And so around 8 weeks later, after that, we were able to do a second glide flight. So we're getting super close to doing, our operation as we imagined many years ago when Sir Richard in the state of New Mexico talked about opening up space through using New Mexico. So it's all great, exciting things. I mentioned that Virgin Galactic's operations are currently in the New Mexico workforce. We've relocated from California to New Mexico over 70 teammates, over 100 teammates, and we've hired locally over 70 teammates since we've been there. So we are making a real conscious effort to attract New Mexico-based talent. So I'm so happy to be invited to this today to be able to share a little bit about, how to get a job in space, right? How to get a job here at Spaceport. At Virgin Galactic. So
Well, you've got a pretty handy join the team button here on your site. Can I click on that?
Yeah, go ahead and click on that. And so that starts your journey to getting, to look at all the positions that we have. So one of the things, and you can also, if you're a Google person, you can also Google Virgin Galactic, and it's the first thing that comes up, all of our jobs. So that's also a nice, good tip. Make sure, like you just did, filter it through New Mexico and hit that search button there, and it'll give you exactly all of our positions that we have currently advertising here in New Mexico. And one of the things that I want to convey, as well as you also conveyed, were that sometimes when we think jobs in space, we're thinking only engineering, we're thinking only, those critical thinkers and things like that. But, like those companies, we vary in our positions, as you can see on the website now. We often think aerospace is only engineering or spaceship mechanics. And those are common roles, yes, for us too, but we also have we have a plethora of different positions, all the way from our supply chain team, facilities, finance, IT, and hospitality, right? So Galactic is all about experience, especially, space flight experience. So we have a hospitality team. They're getting started. You might have met them. They're on site if you were on site, Megan and Kyra. So, and they're excellent. And we're just going to continue building that team. I think we have a waiter position there that's going to be working with the hospitality team. And they're just going to keep growing those teams. So just to name a few, supply chain, finance, facilities, and things, just to name a few other positions aside, from our engineering, which, are usually the positions that we are identified more likely with. So as you can see, you're going through a lot of them there. And we've been locally trying to reach out and get some enthusiasm around these positions and apply with us. So this is the easiest way to get there, but also you can Google it and it appears on your phone. It's super easy to apply. Very, very, very easy application process. And we've done that on purpose because we don't want you to spend all of your time putting in your details, but we want you to also spend time exploring the website and exploring what the culture is like, what the mission, and so get excited about that. So, and a lot of our positions are maintenance too. Who doesn't want to work on maintaining a spacecraft? Like that's a good resume builder, right? So, yeah, it's that's exactly what we're looking for. It's positions now and also long term, right, Tracey? Because we have one spaceship right now, but also in Mojave, California, we're building the other spaceships to come over to New Mexico. So what does that mean? More jobs locally. So we're happy and excited about that as well. And, if anyone is curious on, hey, I put my application in, what does that mean? You apply. Our talent acquisition team is really, they are passionate about what they do as well. So we are looking for, like I said, all gamuts of backgrounds of folks that want to come and make history and help us push our mission along. So our teammates are our number one customers to us internally, right? And so we would be happy to get new teammates into the family of Virgin Galactic, especially in New Mexico. I have when I met Tracey, right, and I know I'm probably going over my time, Tracey, but I was getting ready to show my family a little bit about New Mexico. We were going to start, I think we were starting the relocation period at that time when you and I met. And I was so happily surprised and just, and I became enamored with the community, coming from Southern California. And Tracey, you're from, I know you're from San Diego, you spend a lot of time there. It's a little different, right? And so I was super happy to see the close-knit communities, and our teammates were enamored by that as well. And when I mentioned we relocated over 100 people from California to New Mexico, that's also a wealth of, experience and diversity into the state, and specifically in Las Cruces. But we bought houses, we're purchasing things. And so that really, to your point about the economic push, that has helped, and they'll continue to build the community. So we're very proud
and the careers
happy
that will
about
come
that.
with that. And that's one of the things we always like to try and talk about. What kind of careers will come as a secondary of those primary careers that are coming in from likes of Virgin Galactic? The hospitality is a prime example of that. When you guys bring your future astronauts into New Mexico, they're going to want to see the sights of New Mexico. And that's going to really deliver as a bigger career opportunity and career growth down here in southern New Mexico.
Oh, and I think definitely. That the more that happens here at Spaceport America, the more opportunity is attracted here. And I want to share one last screen with people, because I think that, a lot of these careers are going to come over time. And I want our people to understand how super well equipped we are as a community to prepare people for these careers. I think a lot of people have this kind of perception that, I have to go someplace else to pursue some of the greatest opportunities in various industries. Well,
can I jump in on that one, Tracey?
Yeah, not for aerospace.
As I mentioned before, we host the Spaceport America Cup every summer here in New Mexico.
Well, wait.
And the Space Festival.
Space Festival.
Yeah. But the Spaceport America Cup currently has 2 local college teams that compete in at the New Mexico State University and UNM. Out of those 150 teams, they came 4th and 5th last year. So just to give you an idea of how great our local colleges are, they're producing top 10 level of the largest college rocketry contest right here in the state. And Tech University that are closest to us, they have their own program, and they actually work with our customers and sometimes launch for them. So there is some really great colleges that feed into the workforce that we have here at Spaceport America.
I just want to add to what you just said there, Alice. I personally have attended the Space Cup a couple of years straight, and it's amazing. And you made the point of, hey, even if you're not competing, like, come out, because you get a chance to speak to the talent acquisition team, to the recruiters. And the team that I lead on the recruiting side, we're passionate about what we do. So we want to take time to spend with you, whether it's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, but for us, one of our main values of Virgin Galactic is that we authentically care about our purpose, being global citizens, right? And so that's one of the things. So when I come out to Spaceport, to the Cup and the event, which is amazing, we have so many students coming, and some of them are just looking for advice, and we're happy to talk advice too. So that's one of the things that makes us an employer of choice when we're talking about, taking the time and authentically caring about, whether, not just if you get a job here at Galactic, but what you're doing with your career down the line. Or if you're a career person who's been at different places, we can talk about, hey, these are some of the things that we're looking for, and get that time to speak with our recruitment team. But the Space Cup event is a unique event. I was bummed that it was canceled. We were all ready to come there this year. And so also to the point that you made of the talent is there, right? The local schools, and we participate in career events with New Mexico State University down the way, and we have several folks who've graduated from there, from our engineering department, who were interns. And so that's another thing I wanted to highlight. We have an internship program.
Yeah, your program's fantastic. I was going to say, I presented to the business studies students at NMSU January this year. They were all graduates of business, and I said to all of them, where are you thinking about going when you graduate? I was like, any of you thinking about staying here? And there was no hands up. And I was like, why? And the feedback was, there's no job opportunity. And I said, how many people do you know that work in business for New Mexico State Spaceport Authority? And they're like, I don't know. I was like, we have 5 in our team. I was like, how many do you think work for Virgin Galactic? And out of that conversation to 20 students, 3 of them applied to your internship program. 1 of them got in. So your program is something that I'm always pushing on students that are looking for that opportunity. It's a great way of getting in. I mean, there are internships everywhere, which is one of the other great things. NASA also hosts them here in southern New Mexico. But what Virgin is doing is very exciting, and they are purposely trying to get local students involved. And I think that's a really great thing to really push.
Yeah,
I really
definitely. And we've had a good, sorry, just one, we've had a good conversion. Yeah, our interns, they get to really work on the work, right? They really get to make a difference. They have their mentors, and we take pride in bringing them on full time too. So I'm not saying that that's a promise, but we've had really good success rates with converting our interns into teammates, regular full-time teammates. They're always teammates, but just regular full-time teammates. So
I want to just real quick, because you guys have made a really good point, and I continue to make sure that people know we have such a rich educational ecosystem here to become part of this industry and these incredible opportunities. One more website I want to share with people. We started a website, the Bridge of Southern New Mexico, and it's called New Mexico True Talent. And basically what we sought to do was connect people to everything they could possibly need to know through a series of free links for education and employment. And our website is available in English and in Spanish. But I wanted to just share, we talk about career pathways. And so if I want to be in the aerospace industry, what does my journey look like here? Well, when you click on aerospace and defense, we view them as sort of a combined industry. And what we sought to do was create the path, the career pathway. And I can't tell if when I move you guys, it moves it for everybody, but here's a career pathway. Here are the educational choices that you can start to make as soon as high school. Actually, you could probably make some in middle for career and technical education, the different kinds of programs that lead directly into this. Doña Ana Community College produces all of those middle skill careers, the career certifications, the different things that are very valuable because they're technical in nature in this industry. And of course, we have New Mexico State, which you've talked about. We have incredible College of Engineering, Arts and Sciences that are all part of this. Here are the career opportunities very broadly. They call it sort of the foundational skill sets that are needed in an industry. An industry needs a holistic workforce. You've got your middle skills that are the techs. You've got the four-year kind of careers and masters and higher. But the way that we set this out was this is the educational pathway, and we're trying to connect it even vertically to how far in your education you need to go to earn what you want to earn and become what you want to become. Work-based learning, hands-on learning. You talked about internships. We've talked about apprenticeships. Those are the kinds of work-based learning opportunities that give you both the knowledge, right, and then the hands-on experience, and help employers to see what a great asset you are to their team. But we also did something else for this industry. We're working on it for all of our others. We surveyed the employers here. We surveyed White Sands Missile Range. We surveyed NASA. We surveyed Jacobs Engineering, which runs the NASA contract, Virgin Galactic, Spaceport America, and Boeing that has a facility here. And we asked them, what kind of different jobs are there? You talked about this. It's not just engineers. Yes, 100% of the employers do want engineers, but guess what? They want some other things too, logistics, information technology, cybersecurity, finance, business management. So you don't have to be an engineer to think about this industry because there's a ton of great opportunities here. We also tried to ask about, average incomes. Well, these average incomes are some of the highest in our area. So this is an incredibly, rich, well-formed industry here even now. So if I'm a young person and I'm thinking about this, what kind of skills should I try to build between now and the time I would look for a career in this industry? Well, we were able to quantify those skills in math, in reading, writing, and language. Employability skills, which you hear people call soft skills, but they're about attitude and the way you approach your work and the way you do your work. Technology and digital literacy. This is a picture of the ideal candidate. So if you can articulate and do these things, this makes you an amazing fit for this industry. And we also asked them, if I'm going to go get a degree, which ones matter? And we were able to quantify the top bachelor degrees, the top associate 2-year degrees, the most requested trades and certificates. And then if you don't have a degree, but you're looking for an opportunity to be a part of this industry, there's some opportunities there too. They like experience if you've got previous experience that maybe transfers into this industry. And if you're going to learn a programming language, here are the top requested programming languages. So we are trying to present our New Mexico True Talent, the people who live here, with everything, every piece of information they would need to think about their future, to become part of this industry. And so, so we're really excited to have, you know, such, I think, a well-formed picture of this industry here, because this industry is going to drive us for years, So anyway, so that's all that I have. The last thing I wanted to just say, you know, we've been doing this this series as part of, you know, kind of a COVID recovery, and we call it New Mexico True Talent Presents. We are funded by grants from Union Pacific Foundation and also from the United Way of Southwest New Mexico, and we want to thank them for the resources that make this series of information possible. So, you know, and we will have this video curated on the New Mexico True Talent website as well. So, ladies, I want to thank you for letting me take up some time today and telling amazing stories. I look forward to having our New Mexico True Talent become part of the space story of New Mexico. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you for having us, Tracey.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
anytime, reach out to me, and anytime. So,
excellent, excellent. All right, well, thank you again for those of you who've taken the time to learn more about this, and look forward to next time on New Mexico True Talent Presents. Have a great day.